Most people over 40 still treat vitamin B12 like a harmless energy vitamin, the kind of thing you can add and forget. But B12 isn't a motivational boost. It's a biochemical switch. And flipping that switch the wrong way doesn't usually hurt fast. It works like driving for years with a clogged fuel filter. The car still runs, but every mile costs more than it should. After 40, your tolerance window narrows. Stomach acid tends to drop, which matters because acid helps release B12 from food and prepares it for absorption. The gut's transport system becomes less consistent. The liver is still your chemical processing plant, but now it's processing more medications, alcohol, inflammation byproducts, and everything modern diets quietly add. The kidneys still filter, but they don't love extra unnecessary workload. The nervous system also becomes less forgiving. Small gaps can show up as fatigue, fogginess, or strange sensations that get blamed on normal aging, when they're often just chemistry running underpowered. That's why B12 mistakes become common in older adults. The labels stay simple, but the body doesn't. And the biggest problem is that marketing talks as if B12 is just a number, while biology treats it like a system. The first quiet trap is believing a bigger dose automatically means better protection. Labels proudly show 1,000 micrograms, or even 5,000 micrograms. The brain sees the number and relaxes. But absorption isn't a wide-open drain. It's a controlled gate. Most B12 absorption depends on a carrier pathway involving intrinsic factor, and that pathway can slow with age. So you can swallow a massive amount and still absorb far less than you assume. It's like buying a fire hose when your faucet only produces a trickle. More equipment doesn't change the water pressure. The second mistake is ignoring the form of B12 because the front label only says vitamin B12. In the fine print, you'll often see Cyanocobalamin or Methylcobalamin, sometimes Cyanocobalamin or hydroxycobalamin. Those aren't cosmetic differences. Cyanocobalamin is a very stable synthetic form, but the body must convert it into active forms. That conversion is extra work, largely handled through the liver and enzyme systems. After 40, when the liver already has a longer task list, extra conversion steps stop being trivial. It's the difference between buying ready-to-eat food and buying raw ingredients that require prep when you're already exhausted. The third mistake is assuming a B complex automatically means balance. Many complexes contain B12 alongside folic acid and B6 in pyridoxine form, and the ratios can be aggressive. The problem is that these vitamins act like linked gears. Push one gear too hard while another is missing or poorly absorbed, and the system doesn't run smoother. It runs noisier. It's like turning up the volume on a radio with bad reception. You get louder static, not clearer sound. And because the effect can be subtle, people blame stress or aging instead of noticing a supplement is pushing pathways unevenly. The fourth mistake is missing the medication connection because supplement labels don't sit next to your prescription history. Acid suppressors are a big one. Omeprazole, esomeprazole, pantoprazole, and even long-term antacid use. Lower stomach acid can reduce how well B12 is released and prepared for absorption, especially from food. This is the part labels never explain. You can eat healthy, take a multivitamin, and still end up with B12 that never properly enters circulation, because digestion is chemistry, not willpower. It's like trying to clean greasy dishes in cold water. You can scrub harder and still lose the battle. The fifth mistake is trusting fortified foods as a reliable safety net. Cereals, plant milks, and nutrition shakes often say fortified with B12, which feels responsible. But fortified B12 is frequently added as cyanocobalamin, and it's delivered with modern additives, gums, emulsifiers, sweeteners that can quietly change gut behavior over time. This is why marketing is so effective. It sells a sensation as evidence. The gut is an ecosystem, not a pipe. Small daily exposures can shift that ecosystem gradually, and gradual shifts don't trigger alarm. They just change absorption and inflammation patterns in ways you notice years later. It's like mineral buildup in plumbing. Water still flows until the pressure drops and nobody remembers when it started. The sixth mistake is using feelings as proof that B12 is working. Some people take B12 and feel a quick lift, more alert, more driven. That sensation can be real, but it isn't the same as long-term support. The nervous system can be stimulated without the underlying absorption problem being fixed. This is where slow accumulation matters. But a sensation is like polishing the dashboard. The engine can still be struggling underneath. The seventh mistake is assuming a standard multivitamin covers B12 by default. Many multis include B12 in modest amounts and assume normal absorption. But if intrinsic factor is low, stomach acid is reduced, or gut transport is less efficient, that small amount can be more symbolic than useful. It's like keeping a tiny spare tire in your trunk and assuming you're protected on any road. It's a safety object, not always a safety solution. The eighth mistake is missing how B12 and folate work as a pair, especially when folate is listed as folic acid. B12 and folate cooperate in recycling steps that affect cellular maintenance and nervous system function. If folic acid intake is high, which is common with fortified foods and certain supplements, it can make the situation look covered, while the B12 side is quietly underperforming. Biology cares about coupling, not slogans. Two gears have to turn together. Forcing one doesn't repair the other. It just masks the imbalance while wear continues. What makes these mistakes so persistent is that none of them feel reckless. They feel responsible. High potency sounds protective. Fortified foods sound safe. A multivitamin feels like insurance. And reduce biological workload wherever possible by respecting digestion reality after 40, especially if you use acid suppressors or rely heavily on fortified convenience foods. This is where regulation quietly stops and consumer responsibility begins, not because you should be paranoid, but because the label is legally allowed to be incomplete. So the smarter move is simple and practical. Treat the form as the real product, not the front label number. If the label says Cyanocobalamin or Methylcobalamin, that's not trivia. It tells you how much conversion and handling your body must do. Choose transparency over marketing language because energy and metabolism support are not mechanisms. And regulation allows that comfort because supplement labels aren't required to explain absorption limits, conversion workload, or age-related changes. Vitamin B12 is not an automatic safety net. It's a biochemical lever, and older adults stay harder to mislead when they choose based on forms, absorption, and what labels legally leave out.